Hello everyone, welcome you all to my YouTube channel. I am Megha. Today in the part 5 of the sexual reproduction in flowering plants, I will cover fertilization and endosperm development. Till now we have seen the development of male and female gametophyte and pollination. Male gametophyte is pollen whereas female gametophyte is embryo sac. Now the transfer of pollen from the anther to the stigma is called what? Is called pollination. So till here we have seen that pollens are reached to the stigma. Either it is self pollination or cross pollination, means now the pollens are reached to the stigma. After this, what is next? That we will learn here. Next is your fertilization. It is discovered by the scientist Strasburger. Learn the name of the scientist, very important. Strasburger discovered fertilization. Now the question is, what is fertilization? Fertilization is the fusion of male and female gamete. Okay, male and female gamete fuses and they form zygote. So this fusion of male and female gamete is known as fertilization. Now we will see step by step what are all the process are going after pollination. So first image is this, where you can see the pollen is attached to the stigma. Okay, after this, when the pollen is reached to the stigma, then next step is the interaction between pollen and pistil. Okay, they both interact with each other, they talk with each other that whether I am compatible or not. Style also means recognize whether this pollen is of the same species or not. So recognition is going on here. Okay, pollen pistil interact. They interact and they identify, pistil identify whether the pollen is of the same species or not. That is going here. Means like suppose if the plant is if the flower is of a mango, okay, mango pistil is there, and if on the mango pistil papaya pollen grains deposited, then what will happen? Will the pollen germinate? No, because that is of different species. So this is going over here in pollen pistil interaction. Compatibility is identified whether the pollen is compatible or not. If it is compatible, then only the pollen germinate. Okay. The next step is the secretion from the stigma. Now the stigma secrete sugar and water. So here in this image you will observe that the stigma is secreting some material, that is water and sugar, for the pollen. Now this pollen absorb this material and then enlarges in this size. Now due to the enlargement, the pollen tube arises from one of the aperture. Okay, the pollen tube arises from one of the pore, we can say, or aperture, and this is what we call germination of pollen grain. Okay, now the pollen grain is germinated. In this image you can see how the pollen is germinating. Okay, after germination all the content from the pollen goes into the tube. Okay, what are all the content? Generative cell, vegetative nucleus and the cytoplasm material. All the content moves in the tube. Okay, this vegetative nucleus later on degenerates, whereas the generative cell then divide to form two male gamete. Okay, it divide mitotically to form two male gametes. We have seen that pollens are shed at two cell stage or at three cell stage. Okay, in most cases it shed at two cell stage. So if the pollen is shed at this stage, then the generative cell divide when it reaches to the pollen tube. Here it divides mitotically to form male gamete. Whereas if the pollen is shed at three cell stage, in this case already there are 3 cell, means this generative cell already divide, so then later on no division is there in this. Are you getting my point? Now the pollen tube is germinated. Now if the pollen grain germinate and if only one pollen tube arises, then this condition is called monocephalous. If from this pollen many pollen tubes are arising, or we can say germinating, then this situation is considered as polycephalous. But remember this, only one pollen tube will germinate and reaches to the embryo sac, means only one will enlarge, isn't it? Okay. So we have seen first step, that is recognition factors are secreted by stigma as well as the pollen. Now the pollen, if the pollen is compatible, then the pollen increase in size by absorbing water and sugar from the stigma, and then pollen tube germinates. Okay. Now what is next? Then growth of the pollen tube. Now the pollen tube is growing. Now one more thing is, this style we are talking of, the style can be hollow or it can be solid. Okay, if the style is hollow, then it can germinate easily. If suppose the style is solid, then here tissues are there, so which prevent the entry of this pollen tube. So for this, what pollen tube do? What it does? It secretes some pectinase and some hydrolytic enzyme to create its passage. Okay, are you getting my point? This pollen tube secrete some enzymes to create its passage. So after secreting the enzyme, it can easily enter in the style and reaches to the embryo sac. Now, what about the callus plug? At some interval, in some species, it is observed that callus plugs are formed. Okay, now what is the role of it? It prevents the backflow of the content. Okay, suppose this is male gamete, these are the two male gamete, and this is vegetative nucleus, and some of the cytoplasm are there. So at some intervals, callus plugs are formed to prevent the backflow of the content. This is the function of the callus plug. Okay. Now, as the pollen tube enters, now there are three ways. It can either enter through chalice gland, or it can enter through integuments, or the most is important one which you will observe in most of the angiosperms, that is through the micropylar end. And the terms are, if it is entering through chalice gland, it is called chalezogamy. Through integuments, it is called mesogamy, and through micropylar end, then it is termed as porogamy. Chalice gland is very easy, chalezogamy. Then for micropylar, you have to learn it. The first letter starts from P, porogamy, not from M. If it starts from M, that is meso, then the entry is through the integuments, isn't it? So it is important for you. Learn the entry of the pollen tube, from where it is entering in the embryo sac. Okay, now the pollen tube has reached to the embryo sac. Now here you know that in the synergids, at the micropylar end, two synergids are there and one egg. This whole is called what? Egg apparatus. It is called egg apparatus. Okay, two synergids and one egg is called egg apparatus. So in the synergids, let me draw here. In the synergids, some finger-like projections are, wait a minute. Finger-like projections are projecting. Okay, these finger-like projections are called filiform apparatus. Already I had told you in the previous lesson, filiform apparatus are present in the synergids. So these filiform apparatus guide the entry of the pollen tube. Okay, so you know that the growth of the pollen tube towards the embryo sac is chemotropic, isn't it? Because the growth is towards the chemical stimulus. That's why it is called chemotropic. Okay, getting my point? Very important point, this chemotropic growth of pollen tube. Okay, so here piliform apparatus guides the entry of the pollen tube. Pollen tube enters in the synergids and release the gametes. Now these synergids degenerate and the gametes, one move towards the egg and the other moves in the center where the polar nuclei are present. So here you can see this is the second male gamete, and one will fuses with the egg to form a zygote. Any problem? I think no confusion is there. So first male gamete fuses with the egg to form zygote. This process is called syngamy, isn't it? This process is called syngamy, the fusion of the male gamete with that of the egg. Now the fusion of the second male gamete with the polar nuclei. In the center, two polar nuclei are present. These polar nuclei remain separated or they may fuse to form secondary diploid nucleus. Okay, any case is present. They can be fused to form diploid nucleus or they remain separated. They fuse later on when the male gamete enters. So this is second male gamete fuses with the polar nuclei to form primary androsperm nucleus. And this process is called triple fusion. Okay, fusion of 3 nucleus, 3N. Endosperm ploidy is 3N, triploid. So two fertilization are going on. One male gamete fuses with the egg and the other male gamete fuses here with the polar nuclei. This is called double fertilization. Okay, so what is double fertilization? One is syngamy and other is triple fusion. Considered to be about double fertilization. It is given by the scientist Navaschin. Okay, hope it is clear to you what is double fertilization. After fertilization, you know what is the role of antipodals? Now they get degenerate, no role. Okay, synergids also degenerated, and here they fuses to form egg and the male gamete fuses to form zygote, and in the center primary endosperm nucleus is formed, which will later on form the endosperm. Now about the post fertilization changes. What will happen after fertilization? Endosperm develop from primary endosperm nucleus. Embryo develop from the zygote. Ovule will form seed and ovary will form fruit. Now the development of endosperm precedes the development of the embryo. Why endosperm develop first? Because it will give nourishment to the developing embryo. Embryo will take the food from the endosperm. That's why endosperm develops first, then the embryo. Let's see the development of endosperm. Endosperm develops in 3 ways, or we can say 3 types of endosperm development are there. First is free nuclear development, free nuclear endosperm. Second one is cellular endosperm, and third is halobial endosperm. So what is endosperm? It is the nutritive tissue which provides nutrition to the developing embryo. On the basis of its formation, it is divided into 3 types: nuclear, cellular, and halobial. First one about nuclear endosperm. In this, Primary endosperm nucleus divide mitotically to form many nuclei. Now these nuclei floats in the cytoplasm. Now this cytoplasm is multicellular because many nuclei are present inside. Okay, many triploid nuclei. These nucleus are triploid because they are formed from the primary endosperm nucleus, which is formed due to triple fusion. Example of free nuclear endosperm is your coconut water. A very tasty water which you drink is nothing but the free nuclear endosperm. In this case, only karyokinesis occurs. Karyokinesis means division of nucleus, and no cytokinesis. Cytokinesis means division of cytoplasm. In free nuclear endosperm development, only division of nucleus takes place, no cytokinesis. In this way, it leads to the formation of free endosperm nucleus. Many nuclei are floating in the cytoplasm. Later on, cytokinesis occurs, and due to which this free nuclear endosperm gets converted into cellular endosperm. See here, after karyokinesis, there is a cytokinesis. Primary endosperm nucleus divide to form two nucleus, and in the center, cytoplasm also divide. Okay, in this way, cellular endosperm is formed. This is what we call cellular endosperm. The white edible part of the coconut is nothing but the cellular endosperm, and the center free nuclear part, where that is the water of the coconut, is free nuclear endosperm. Third one is the halobial type. It is the intermediate between nuclear and the cellular. The primary endosperm nucleus divides into two. One moves towards the chalazal end and one remains towards the micropylar end. The one which moves towards the chalazal end will form the cellular endosperm, and the one which is towards the micropylar end divides to form many nuclei and makes free nuclear endosperm. This type of endosperm development takes place in monocots. Now about if suppose the embryo which is developing, it takes the endosperm for its development, because endosperm gives the nourishment to the developing embryo. Now the developing embryo, if it eats, or means we can say if it used, okay, if the embryo used all the endosperm for its development, and there is no endosperm in the seeds, then we call and non-endospermic seeds. Such seeds are called non-endospermic seeds, or also called non-albuminous seeds. Okay, in some cases it remain persistent. Such seeds are called endospermic seeds, or also albuminous seeds. Okay, so it depends on the endosperm whether the endosperm is present or not. If it is there, then we call endospermic seeds, and if it is not there, then we call them non-endospermic seeds. This is all about endosperm. Now one more image I want to show you. This is all about, already I had discussed with you liquid endosperm. Okay, this is free nuclear endosperm, and this white portion, that is coconut meat, is the cellular endosperm. See this figure here, you can observe that this is the ovary, this is ovule, and you can see the nucleus is used up now. This is primary endosperm nucleus in the center, which will form endosperm, and here zygote is developed. Egg fuses with the male gamete to form zygote. Zygote will develop into embryo, and this ovary will form fruit, ovules form seeds. Okay, what are the parts of the pistil that I am talking of? These parts, what are they forming now? Okay, now the ovary will form fruit and ovules form seeds, and these antipodals gets degenerated integuments. Two integuments are present. These integuments will form the seed coat. Zygote will form embryo. Primary endosperm nucleus will form endosperm. Ovary will form fruit. Ovules, seed. Integuments will form seed coat, covering of the seed. Synergids gets degenerated and these antibodal cells also gets degenerated because they are of no use now. Nucleus also used up. In some cases it remains persistent. Then these seeds are called perispermic seeds. Perispermic seeds means the nucleus persist. Example are beetroot and black pepper. Okay. This is all about today. Thank you for watching my video. Give your valuable feedback and subscribe to my channel. Thank you and have a nice day.